Okay, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 now between these two young men. Chatting it up. Young Sung His, I can read it all. Chatting it up here. After a pretty cheesy opening from the Protoss player, spawning in the bottom right position, the yellow Zerg. It is none other than Samsung Galaxy Solar, who's down 0-1 in this best of 3 at the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore Korea qualifier. And his opponent in the top left, the yellow Protoss. It is StarTale's Avenge. And with that proxy 2-gate, he definitely did. I can't say he avenged anyone because I haven't seen any StarTale players lose today. But you'll be damn sure that he'll try. And what is this? What is this fast probe scouting? Is he going to go Nexus first? I want to see. No, okay, it's going to be a Gateway. I just want to see him cheese again. It was just really funny. The fast probe scout with the Gateway expand is really weird. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Because with Gateway expand, you can hold 6 pool. Easy. Easy peasy. And there's the spawning pool. So he just wanted to know what was up, I guess. Nothing really crazy. You see this probe kind of twerking on this mineral patch. Nothing really crazy there, though. He's just poking around now. Little mandibles. You gotta wonder, like, should there be damage over time when drones attack something if their mandibles have saliva? I don't know. Food for thought. Probe's gonna dance around. He wants to prevent the hatchery from being placed, obviously. Pylon in the lower bit area of the main base. Avenge might have something up his sleeve after all. There's a pylon block. Typically not seen with a Gateway expand. We typically don't ever see pylon blocks off Gateway expands. The only thing that a pylon block really tells Solar at this point, though, is that Avenge didn't go Nexus first, because you never pylon block if you Nexus first. And he's waiting to put down this hatchery. Looks like he wants to check the natural first, though, and he sees, oh, okay, you canceled the pylon. Cool, let me build the hatchery. He's like, no. He's like, no. Nope. 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 Oh, okay, you got it. So now Avenge is like, oh, okay, let's see if you actually build that third hatch. And he saw the drone move back, so he should recognize that's not really an issue, as his probe is not the natural. He could construct a Nexus if he wants, and pretty much do whatever. So yeah, there's the Nexus. Oh, it's here. Gas is finishing up for Solar, and this probe. Oh, he gets the scout on the gas, which is kind of nice. A gas is not bad versus Gateway openers, generally speaking. You want to have access to either speedlings or roaches at the beginning of the game. Even if you don't use them, you need access to them if the Protoss does try to get aggressive. I think it's really funny because there was an interesting discussion about map hacks and whatnot on the StarCraft Reddit, and one of the points someone brought up was if every player had vision, like if there was no fog of war, Protoss would be at the biggest disadvantage since they rely most on surprising their enemy or having the threat of so many builds that they can do. And it's one of the things that keeps Zerg players honest. Otherwise, Solar could say, hey, you're building sentries. You're not getting super aggressive. I could probably drone crazy hard and then prepare right around when you start your gateways. So, just a weird little bit of knowledge to digest, I guess. But I can't really say I disagree. Solar, it's so important to scout when the Protoss decides to move out, when they want to attack, when they want to do anything. Has the wall set up, the Nexus is done. The hatchery, no, obviously, has been going for a little bit here. Got the injects going. Just crank out drones. Doesn't really need to do much else. But the sentry pokes away at this Overlord. And Stargate is the option here. And he's actually chrono boosting out this the fact that he's not saving the chrono for the Stargate and that he's using it on the cybernetics core leads me to believe that he wants to do some sort of pressure. The only issue I have with this notion of doing pressure early on is that there's no pylons on the map, so you can't do any pressure. Maybe you can make a Phoenix. Yeah, it's actually rallied to that Overlord, so I assume he's just going to open up Phoenix. I was a little curious as to why he chrono boosted Warp Gate. Maybe he's scared of an attack hitting him, but it's not a huge deal. Stargate's done. There's the Phoenix. There's the Chrono. I don't imagine there's going to be a lot of warp-ins. Oh, he's actually going to send 3 Zealots. Maybe he does have something planned here. It's really weird because he doesn't have a close point of reinforcement. He can't actually push out and then go for a sustained attack. Yeah, he's going to continue to produce Phoenix. So is this some sort of Phoenix 3-gate timing? I don't think so. Depending on whether he takes his second base's gas, could be an indicator. If he sticks on just one base of gas, he's going to have a little bit of excess minerals, so he can just float out all these Zealots. Yeah, he's sitting 3 more now. So this looks like it's going to be pretty heavy pressure. Zealots are great versus Zerglings. The lair is starting up, and Zergling speed is done. But now he's starting to move out a little bit more, and without even sending a probe, which is really neat because, I mean, he doesn't have great reinforcing capabilities, but with the Phoenix, he can actually prevent the Queens from microing, as we see here. And the Zealots, man, they just dig into Zerglings like it ain't nothing. With 7 Roaches on the way, he's forcing out a lot of units. Preventing this third base from getting saturated, I guess, is really the big point here, but that's all he's going to be able to do. He should just recall with these Zealots. I don't see him doing much damage unless he can catch these Roaches out of position. But I guess he doesn't actually have to recall. He could try to walk home. The Zerglings are going to go for a counterattack. I think he needs to recall and use Frozen Overcharge. He has enough energy to do so, but his army's just actually going to get swarmed here. Yeah. Okay, he needs to do something. He needs to get out of here. There's the recall. Moves back home. Everything is just peachy. Robotics Facility and the Forge start up. Overlord gets... I don't know if you call them laser beams. Laser beams are generally like static things. These are like laser bursts. I don't know. So as you can see, we're running out of things to fill time with. Hydralisk Den is on the way. Spore Crawlers being added on. And 5 Phoenix. Actually going up to 6 Phoenix into Void Race. So this is actually a little bit SOS style here, from what I recall. Really preferring some heavy Phoenix play in the early game. He didn't get anything crazy like +1 Phoenix attack, but the Void Ray switch does show as a big indicator he wants to stick to the air. And since there's only 1 Spore Crawler at each base, he can kill a good amount of drones. He has 7 so far. I just realized I really like yellow Phoenix. They look like flying bananas. Flying bananas, actually. It's kind of cool. But the double Queen at the 3rd base does keep these Phoenix away. And he's just looking, he's poking and prodding. He wants to see if there's anything to attack. This Overseer is going to make its way across the field. He has Zerglings to watch for a 3rd base. So the next question is, what does he actually do? He's adding on 2 cannons. Is Avenge worried about some sort of attack? Does he fear the unknown? These Hydralisks certainly want to shove him back. So that's a nice little bit of poking there, but nothing real. There's still some Lings and Roaches waiting on the right side. He's got that nice mobile task force. And this Overseer is picked off. The Changeling, Secret Agent Man was not long for this world. And now the Lings and Roaches want to pressure the natural. There's nothing there. 3rd base obviously doesn't exist. This Zergling has known that for decades. And now the Mothership Core just says, please leave me alone. I want to play the expanding game. A couple Phoenix actually took some paint damage. 2 of them looked like they were eliminated. And these Hydras, it's actually a really nice setup. The Hydralisks versus this is really strong. The only thing he needs to be worried about is, yeah, I guess the Spire he can deal with the Colossi. I was going to say, as a Zerg player, it's really important to balance the amount of Hydralisks versus Roaches that you have. The Roaches obviously tank way better versus the Zealots. Important things to consider, for example, the Roaches actually start with +1 armor. Hydralisks do not have any. I guess I can't show you on the tooltips here, but Hydras don't have any armor by default. They have 80 hit points, and with Roaches, they have like pretty much double, almost double, and +1 base armor. So they are much harder to kill, especially with the Zealots. So you need them to help tank the damage, of course, tank some of the damage from the Colossi and anything else, and then the Hydras just deal the damage. But this Warp Prism, I thought I saw Warp Prism. Okay, there it is. Does present another tangible threat. And the Hydras are remaining mobile. There's the Hydralisk speed upgrade coming in. He did get range first. I feel like... No, he actually went speed first. That's slightly unusual. A lot of Zerg players prefer to open up range because it's good for defense, but maybe he wants to be a bit more active on the map, protect his stretched out 4th base. I don't know. Corruptors are coming out of the field. My guess is he wants the speed to just get a nice position, maybe dodge some force fields, but there are a lot of force fields available. There's just a lone Void Ray, and with 2 Colossi, I mean, if the Corruptors actually get this, then that's enough. He's 7 of them on the way, but now the Zealots hit the main base. He's actually going for the Hydralisk Den, and he might not get Hydralisk's range upgrade. That'd be really nice denial. This is such an important upgrade, largely because if you get force fielded out, you're not going to be able to hit anything. The Stalkers will outrange your Hydralisks, and there we see Hydrosen is gone. What does Solar do? He's maxed out. He can just push, but this push has to win in the game because without range, playing in a sustained late game setup of Roach, Hydra, Corruptor versus this isn't going to work. We see that since he saw the Corruptors, he's adding in more Void Rays. Void Rays for Avenge, so strong versus Corruptors. They really just deal quite a number. And this War Prism's still on the field. The Corruptors have to, excuse me, spend their time chasing it down rather than trying to push. War Prism is gone. So we're going to see him spread out his army in a really nice arc around these two bases. He is maxed out. Some Colossi will be hallucinated in. I think this is an incredibly smart decision. Is there an Overseer with this army? No. If these Corruptors attack the wrong Colossi, he could just lose. But it looks like, yep, he gets the wrong one the first hit. He's bought himself a lot of time. He's going for Colossi number 2, but he's not going to... I mean, he might kill that one. But all the Corruptors are dead before he kills more than one Colossus. Very nice. He still has a great arc, but Avenge's army is just so much more cost-effective. He's blowing him to pieces, and especially without the Hydralisk range upgrade, they have to get in very, very close. So Avenge is just able to get a nice position for himself. In fact, even with the Extended Thermal Lance, just so much range on these Hydras. Did he rebuild the Hydralisk then? Okay, he did. Where did he put it? Oh, he's right back in the main base now. He doesn't have Hydra range. Something he 100% needs. He's transitioning into a good number of Zerglings, getting Zergling attack upgrades, but still going to be difficult since Avenge is on that saturated third. And keep in mind that Solar is actually down one game in this series, so it's one of those situations where you really can't afford to screw up any more than you already have. And now he's decided, you know, screw it. Let's just get Mutalisks out. He's gonna try to pull some sort of weird bluff where he's basically got junk in his hands, but, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, at this point, it might as well be someone else's because we got a royal flush on the field for Avenge. The only thing he has to worry about is getting caught off guard by these mutas, and he does have 3 Phoenix still on the field. He does have the Stargate. He can get a Fleet Beacon very quickly. The Zealots harassing that left side base. The real question is, when does he find out about the Mutalisks? These Corruptors with the Overseers, very cute maneuver to pick that off, but he has not yet started producing any more the Stalker's moving into the main base. He needs Blink, actually, and he's adding on a Fleet Beacon and a Stargate, so he knows of the mutas, and now all Avenge needs is a little bit of time. Zealots digging into these Zerglings, doing a great job of just slicing and dicing. That hatchery will be able to be restarted, always nice, but Avenge has information, and knowing is, you know, pretty much the entire battle in StarCraft 2, as the mutas will swoop over to the left side. There's a lot of Stalkers here. There's that Blink being produced, and he can unpower this Stargate pretty easily. I think it's a great stepping stone for him trying to getting a lead here, especially with the Roaches and Hydras pressing the east side. These Colossi are pretty exposed, and the Mutalisks have a ton of mobility, a huge mobility advantage over the Stalkers because they don't have Blink. Pops the Guardian Shield. He's actually really scared of being attacked by this force now. Observer, no, he runs. He tries to flutter his way away. This Nexus actually finishes. If he defends this 4th base, I think Avenge is in a sick position. Repowering this Stargate. Fleet Beacon is done. Anion Pulse Crystals. That's the Phoenix range upgrade is on the way. And the Stalkers are just going to town. The Hydras and Roaches want to attack from the low ground, but I think he wants to just keep this Stargate unpowered as long as possible. Whenever he gets a chance, just unpower it. But now the second pylon, he's got that that double generator backup. And Avenge he's going to be able to really take this base. He's going to force a fight. Solar needs to be really careful. His army could get force fielded in. He does not get blocked in just yet. Kind of lucky for him. The Phoenix take a little bit of damage, but he's starting to stack them up. He has 5 saved up. With that range upgrade, he really just needs to get maybe like 17, 20 Phoenix. I love this. All these changelings dying, man. It's like you thought he had a lot more Zealots. It turns out they are all fake. More mutas coming in. This is Solar's way of just trying to bring this game in. He's trying to reel it home, and he needs to have some fantastic micro to deal with these ranged Phoenix now because there are a lot of them. I feel like most Protoss players will typically go for a triple Stargate play. I think that's usually a pretty smart thing to do, but the fact that he's gotten this 4th base up, I mean, he can afford almost anything at this point. Zealots are going to just run into the right side base. The Mutalisks have only been trying to harass the production, not really much else, and the rest of the Stalkers are coming in. Avenge, his army looks unstoppable. The Zealots are just finally cleaned up on the right side. This force will press the right. He has the force and overcharge. That really shouldn't do anything at all. The Phoenix are starting to deal a little bit of damage. Of course, the Corruptors tank so well, and now the Mutas want to counterattack, at the same time forcing a little bit of a weird base trade type scenario. And there he goes, into the main. Of course, his first target is going to be the Nexus. I feel like you want to get the Stargates first, just prevent any more Phoenix from coming onto the field and limit the production ability of your opponent, but he's got other priorities. Actually, now he unpowers, kills the Cybernetics core, and he's going to send him back to the Stone Age intact. He can't produce Stalkers anymore. He still has the 2 Stargates, but this is a very weird position to be in. The Stalkers are not enough alone. That right side base was killed. He still has a lot of Phoenix, don't get me wrong, but these Corruptors and the Mutas, they actually have the 1-1 upgrade, so the Corruptors are even going to be tankier versus these Phoenix. And this is it. He just needs to have the most incredible micro that we've ever seen from somebody with Phoenixes in StarCraft 2. Theoretically, he can kite this for literally ever, but there's so many hit points, there's so much here. He needs to bring the rest of his forces back at the same time to actually hold this off. This last Nexus is going to, well, actually be this next Nexus, he still has the natural expansion, is going to be picked up. As Solar's going to try to win this by base trade, the drones are evacuating Avenge. I don't know if he's going to do this. There's still an extractor here. He still has some buildings, and with these drones running away, going for the base trade is going to be really, really difficult. I don't know how I feel about this. It's going to be weird. Oh, he's grabbing all the drones with the Phoenix. This is so smart. He's not going to be able to build any buildings outside of his base. What the? Oh, there's still one drone. Nevermore. He gets sniped. Oh, where are there any drones? Where are the drones? Now, this is the only question that remains to be answered. And there we have 5 trying to skedaddle over towards the left side of the map. Where are the Phoenix? If they spot those drones, he could shut this down. He's actually still mining on this right side base, so he's going to pull more drones away. And this is it. It's just a full-on base trade, and he's got his whole army here. I feel like if he could get back and defend one Nexus, he'd be okay. I don't think there are any probes on the map. Okay, he has 3 probes. He has 3 probes and enough minerals to rebuild. So, theoretically, he kills everything that the Zerg player has and then just rebuilds and camps. But even that is going to be difficult because the Phoenix need to be able to kite. If the Phoenix can't kite, they're almost useless since he's just going to sit on top of it, since he can just run in and just fight him over the air with how much firepower he has. The Stalkers are really the big game changers. There's the Nexus being built, and we're going to see these Zerglings clean up everything else that he has, and the Mutas and Corruptors have to kill this whole army in basically one fell swoop. Solar doesn't actually need to do anything, I think, because of the Nexus positioning, though. Because of the Nexus positioning, Solar can just build this hatchery on the left side and just rebuild completely. The Phoenix can move out to harass, but if the Mutalisks ever get away from the Phoenix, then he's just going to be able to pick off what buildings are left. Look at this probe in the top left. No chance of escape. The drones, man, they're working those mandibles. Phoenix getting dangerously close. I mean, even if he kills off all the Corruptors, then he pretty much just wins the game because the Mutalisks can't fight as well. But they are so damn tanky, and they're a little bit better on the range front. They have 5 range. I actually think Corruptors might have 6 range. They're so damn good versus the Phoenix. And is Avenge just gonna go for it? Yeah, he canceled the Nexus. He still has this Stargate in the south side. As long as he has a few buildings and a random pylon here or there, he will try to make this work. He realizes, I think, that Nexus positioning is not going to do the trick. And immediately he's like, well, you've got another building here. And he's actually playing with fire. Where are the buildings for the Zerg player? Wait, is that it? Is that all he has? No. Oh, goodness. Where? He has an extractor. Oh, my goodness. 3 Stalkers. Go, monkey, go. He's actually just going to come in here and try to fight this army. The Phoenix, everything here, the Stalkers, everything is lending their power. The Guardian Shield is very strong. If he kills the Mutas, then that's game over. How many Mutalisks are left? Avenge, I think he's going to take it. GG. Wow, that was, what a crazy game that we had there. And Avenge advances with a 2-0 victory over Samsung Galaxy Solar here at the IEM Singapore Korean qualifier. Wow.